Hi everyone, it is Wednesday, May 13th, 2015, and this is episode 19 of the Serenova Crafts podcast. I'm your host, Jessica. Welcome back to returning viewers. Hi to new viewers. You can follow me on Ravelry and Twitter as Serenova and on Instagram as Serenova_Phoenix. You can follow my blog at myknittinglife.wordpress.com. We have a Ravelry group, the Serenova Crafts podcast. Feel free to join. Comment on the show notes. I post show notes on both my blog and on Ravelry. There's a link to the blog post with the show notes in the YouTube comments. Yeah, I think that's it. So, slightly truncated show for you today. Mainly because I need to clock into work by 9 and it's almost 8:30, but also because I didn't really knit that much this week. But yeah, but I do have stash enhancement and some stuff to show you, and I went to a fiber festival this past weekend, so that's good too. So to start off with my May socks, I have them here. I've turned the heel and I'm on the leg. Heel. There's the heel. So here's the sock. And there's the heel. I do a fish lips kiss heel. Ever since I found that one, I really like it because I have narrow heels and this fits better. But I'm almost done this socks because what I do is, I knit until the leg of the sock, when folded in half, hits the toe increases. And then I do 20 rows of 2x2 ribbing and bind off. So I actually don't have that much farther to go in this sock, as you can see. Just another, like, 1.5 inches, and then I will be on to sock 2, which is good because it's 2 weeks into May. Well, like a 1.5 weeks into May, but still. I also got in the mail this week fiber I bought on a D-stash from Ravelry like a month ago. And this is the woman who forgot to mail it. Well, her husband forgot to mail it because he didn't realize there was 3 packages. And he only mailed 2 of them. So this is it. This is Hello Yarn fiber. This is the... Oh, which colorway is this? What are you complaining about, cat? I have a talking kitty. Listen to her. What? You're being loud. Speaking of cats, I'm cat sitting this week, but I'll get to that in a minute. So here is a braid of it. It's actually really pretty. That totally distorted the colors. Oh my god, look at that as it's refocusing back. So if I curl up the braid, it probably won't be as funky. And the cat walked off. Here we go. See, isn't that pretty? And I got 5 braids of this. 5. So we'll see what it becomes when I finally decide to spin it. Yeah, see, it's all in here. Yeah. And it came from Canada, so that's why it took so long to get here. So the other project I've been working on is my Shawl of Doom, the title of last week's episode. I need to decide what to name this episode. I haven't made up my mind yet. Maybe Quickie or something. That doesn't sound quite right. So I have been working on the shawl. It doesn't look like I've made much progress, but I actually finished the first chart for the... I gotta hold it up funny. So you see the points here. So this is the points, this part, and then you do the inner border. So I finished the first chart for the inner border, and I'm actually on like row 5 of the second chart for the border. So, that's going well, and hopefully I will finish, if I finish that chart by the end of the month, that puts me on track to do the center of the shawl in June. Because the knit-along's May and June, so I have until the end of June. So if I finish the border by the end of this month, because that's another, like, I know saying 45 rows doesn't sound like it's a lot of knitting, but you have to remember, these rows are between 600 and 700 stitches. I actually haven't counted the total, but I could figure it out for you because what I do is I keep track by repeat. So I know that each border is correct, but I haven't actually added up the stitches for each border. So, yeah, it's a lot. It's between 600 and 700 stitches to go all the way around. You're going to see the cat walking around in the background a lot this time. And it's just, yeah, it's a lot. So think about between 600 and 700 stitches done 45 times. That's actually a lot of knitting. A lot of knitting. So, yeah, it probably won't happen all that quickly. But hopefully by the end of the month I can get it done. So, quick thing about the cat I'm cat sitting. His owner knows my mom, which is why she asked me to cat sit, because she's gone on vacation this week, but she didn't want to board the cat. Speaking of cats, here's Colky. There's my Colky. So because she didn't want to board the cat, she lent me the keys to her apartment, and I've been going morning and night to feed him and try to, you know, give him some love and stuff, but he's very skittish and he doesn't like anyone except his mom. So I started feeding him Monday night, and today's Wednesday morning. And this morning was the first time I actually got to touch him since I started feeding him. He was still under the bed, but he let me sniff him, and then he let me scratch under his chin. So that's good. And if you can't tell, I have a cat in my lap right now, because here's your tail. She's probably going to stay here if I keep petting her. So, but his name's Nubble, and he's a gray Maine Coon, which means he's huge, and his fur is everywhere, because he's a long hair. But he's adorable, but the poor guy, he's just so skittish. And, like, yeah, I feel bad for him. But his mom will be home late Friday night, so I gotta feed him tonight, and then tomorrow and Friday, and that'll be good. So, now, New Hampshire sheep and wool. Nobody came up and said hi while I was there, so I'm guessing nobody went. Well, I know people from my, like, local knit groups and stuff that went, but they don't necessarily watch the podcast. So, I have I always keep the booklets, because I'm weird about stuff like this, so I have the booklet, which has all the lists of vendors and stuff, and all, like, their contact information and websites and stuff, so that's really good, actually, because I like going back and looking at stuff later, but also, a lot of the people have, like, Etsy shops and online stores, so I didn't necessarily feel the need to buy from them right then and there. But it was nice to, like, see their yarn in person, feel it, etc. But I did buy 4 things. None of them were yarn, and none of them were fiber. So I got a souvenir t-shirt, because I'm all about the souvenir t-shirt. So, there we go. T-shirt. I bought a hand-woven towel, like it's a dish towel. You just saw a flash of it because I was unfolding it. So here you go. Oop. This woman I will put in the show notes who this woman is. But, you know, her booth had pictures of her big floor loom. And I mean big floor loom. You know, like fill a room floor loom. And she had, you know, queen and king size blankets you could buy that were all woven and everything. And it was just incredible. I will also include the name of the lady who did this. This is an orifice hook for my spinning wheel. And it has hand-done glass at the bottom. There we go. See that? Isn't that pretty? And then it just ends in the hook. So, it looks like a coat hanger with glass on it, but the really pretty part is the glass at the end. So I think it's really cool, and it works with my spinning wheel, and I'm happy about that. But, like, holding it up doesn't really work because it's not, you know, the camera doesn't work. And then I bought a basket. And the basket is the kind of basket, because of its size, excuse me. I have the door open because fresh air. But I also, it's pollen, because here in New England, we've kind of gone from winter to summer. We had like 2 days of spring. And so everything is dropping the pollen at once. And I have the door open because it's a nice, cool morning out. It's actually in the 50s out. It's a gorgeous sunny morning. The sun's shining. There's a few clouds in the sky. It's gorgeous, right? So I want the fresh air in the apartment. But that means that I'm stuffed up like crazy and I want to sneeze. I don't normally have really bad allergies. And in fact, like, a lot of stuff doesn't bother me. And actually, I grew out of a lot of allergies. Because I was actually a lot worse as a kid. But just the sheer amount of pollen in the air is just ridiculous. And my sinuses are just mad at me. They're just mad at me. That's all I can say. Anyways, the basket. This is the size of basket that means that I don't really take it places. It has handles. I can move it around the apartment, but this is kind of going to be like I shove my like couch knitting into. So, and this is a fair trade basket from Africa. I actually have the tag for this one here. So, so here's the label. And it's fair trade, helps women in Africa. It says, every basket is hand-woven in village co-ops in Ghana, West Africa. Your basket purchase helps provide healthcare and school supplies in support of the weavers, their families, and their villages. So I think that's a pretty cool deal. And if it ever, like, misforms, apparently if I wet it, I can get it back into shape, which is pretty cool. So here it is. I told you it was big. So I'll put it closer. See, it actually is pretty colorful. It's got the handles up top. And it's pretty wide, too. I mean, look at that. And I've just been keeping all my goodies from Sheep and Wool in it. Which, as you can see, my goodies from Sheep and Wool do not fill it at all. I mean, look at that. It's not full at all. I think I'm going to keep the crochet blanket I'm working on in there because it'll fit. But that basket's not really going to leave the house. I'm more using it for my own stuff. The cat has actually yet to get in it. So that's something. And that's it. So, not really. I'm going to talk about Sheep and Wool a little bit more before I let you go here. Like I said, this is going to be a quickie episode. I actually do not have any show notes. I'm doing this completely off the top of my head. I'm really bad about the show notes. I'm actually going to have to watch this video in its entirety and make notes as I go so that I can do my show notes. Good times, good times. Sorry, I have some grape juice. So, I went with my mom and another friend. She rode with us up. I know her from my local knitting. And, oh, right. Before I talk about Sheep and Wool. Last week, I told you guys I was going to go to the spinning group at my local shop that night. And it went really well, and there was about 5 of us. And one woman there apparently used to enter her, her handspun into the contest they have at New Hampshire Sheep and Wool. And she won first place for like 10 years in a row until somebody comments, you know, it would be nice if you didn't enter so that the rest of us could have a shot. And so she hasn't entered since because she kept winning first place and nobody else was winning. But apparently she owns like 15 spinning wheels. But yeah, it was kind of funny because some people actually had portable wheels and some people had non-portable wheels. I mean, in every spinning wheel, unless it's like a huge great wheel, is actually pretty portable. Because like someone in an Ashford Traditional that they just picked up and walked with, and they have a hatchback, so they just put it in the back of the, you know. So every spinning wheel is portable to a degree. And it's like, if you can get it to the shop, you can bring it, you know. So, so I had my sidekick, and it was kind of funny because everyone else had a quicker setup than I did, and a quicker breakdown. But mine collapsed the most, so yeah, it was interesting. But it was fun, and I had a good time, and it's going to be the first Wednesday of every month, so I have to wait until June to go again, but it was nice. I had a good time. What, Cokie? She's meowing at me. I don't know if you can hear her, but she's right there, and she's meowing at me. What, you want to come say hi to the people again? I'll pick you up. Come here. Come on, are you gonna ignore me? You're gonna be a cat and ignore me. Fine. Typical cat. So that was really fun. I had a blast. And they're actually gonna have spinning lessons once one of the women finishes teaching this year because she's a music teacher. And there's the cat. Is she gonna jump up on the beanbag? I'm watching her now. She really likes that beanbag. Seriously, she really does. But anyways, okay, so now New Hampshire sheep and wool. I'm being random again. So we got up there around 10, and we get in, and we go to the first building because it's like right at the entrance. But then there's like 4 more buildings, and then there's a downstairs of the original building. So my mom and I are the kind of people who, before we buy anything, we'll do a round of the place to see what there is, and then we'll go back and get what we want. And after seeing the yarn selection, it wasn't that it wasn't gorgeous. It wasn't that it wasn't pretty. It wasn't that it wasn't soft or colorful or whatever. But it was, a lot of these people have online shops, and I probably shouldn't make a spur-of-the-moment purchase, and I also have a tight budget. So with what I got, I actually managed to stay in budget, but I knew if I started buying yarn, that budget was going to go out the window. So actually, that's why I didn't buy yarn or fiber. Also, I have a big stash. Also, I have a lot of fiber. And at this point, I kind of need to use some of it. It doesn't mean I'm not going to buy stuff, but, like, I didn't need to go blow my entire budget on yarn at a sheep and wool festival. Ironically, there was a food truck that was selling lamb. You know, just one of those things. Because you could buy sheep, you could buy the wool from sheep, you could buy the wool from alpacas, you could buy Angora, Angora bunny, not Angora goat, because I would have said mohair if it was the goat. And then you could buy lamb to eat. I saw lots of vanity license plates that were really cool. One of them was BFL for life, and I just kind of laughed. I figured it was one of the farmers, because it was parked actually, like, in the fairgrounds near where they had all the sheep and stuff. So I thought that was cool. Lots of vanity plates. Lots of fiber, spinning, knitting-related vanity plates. But actually, it's New Hampshire, so I wasn't that surprised. Because even though New Hampshire doesn't have the most cars total of any state, that's probably like California or Texas or something, we do have the most vanity plates per capita. Because it's actually so easy to get one here, and it's actually not nearly as expensive as it is in a lot of other places. So a lot of people have vanity plates. And I kind of want one, like when I get my own car and it's actually my name on the title and not like my mom's name on the title. I kind of want a vanity plate. But you can't fit 8 letters on the vanity plate, and the thing I want to put on it is 8 letters long. So, you know. But anyways, so we do the rounds, and then we decide that we're going to eat because we've been there for a couple hours already, because we take our time doing the rounds, you know. We do a loop of every building. We go from building to building. We stop and watch a couple demonstrations as we go. So, by the time we've finished the circuit, it's around noon. And there's a demonstration that I specifically want to see at 1, which was how to use a walking wheel, which actually that was really cool. And so, so we decide to get lunch. Sam breaks off. Mom and I go get lunch, and then we go to the walking wheel demo, and then we find Sam again afterwards. And then Mom and I decide to do our shopping. And so that's when I bought my basket and all that stuff. There was a lot of vendors there. If you look, I will link to the New Hampshire Sheep and Wool website, which has a list of vendors if you want to know who was there, because I'm not going to remember everyone. But I did take pictures, so I'm going to put them in at the end of the video before the credits, so you can see them. I didn't take any video. But the walking wheel was really cool. So the walking wheel is like a great wheel, but different. Oh, hey, there's a blue jay on the balcony. Okay, sorry. Distraction! So the walking wheel is the big wheel. It looks like a wagon wheel that turns. And then you have, there's no flyer or bobbin on the wheel. It's basically a spindle attached to a big wagon wheel on like a stand. So the ratio, so it had a very high ratio. It was 1 turn of the wagon, I'm calling it the wagon wheel just so you know, so 1 turn of the big wheel on it turned the spindle 50 times. I apologize for any funny faces I make. I am trying not to sneeze. That's it. I'm just trying not to sneeze. So, but the thing is that you need to turn the wheel with one hand while you're drawing out fiber with the other hand. So, it's a little complicated, and it's called a walking wheel because you're actually taking 2 or 3 steps forwards and backwards every time you do something. So, it's like spinning on a drop spindle, except it goes a little quicker. So what it is that you spin the wheel one direction and you pull the fiber out with your hands. And then you spin the wheel the other direction. I'm kind of doing the motion here because I actually got to try it. And then you turn the wheel back to wind the yarn, the single that you've just spun onto the spindle. And then you draw it out again. So it takes a lot of coordination because your hands are doing completely different things. And then you're having to walk forwards and backwards, but you're also having to make sure you don't break the yarn, that you get enough twist into the yarn, that you turn the, I mean, it was just like, yeah. And the wheel was from the 1820s, so it was actually really old. It was actually in really good shape, but the woman was doing the demo, and it was really neat. I got to try it. Unfortunately, I don't have any pictures of me trying it, because Mom didn't think to take out her phone and take a picture of me trying the thing. And I didn't tell her to take a picture of me while I was trying it, because that would have been cool. So unfortunately, no pictures of me trying it, but I will put in the picture of the great wheel, of the walking wheel, excuse me, because I did take a picture of it with the woman who was demonstrating using it. So, yeah. And then we left around 2:30. So after the demonstration was over, which that was about a half hour, 45 minutes, we did our shopping, and then by then it was just after 2:30. We ran into a few people we knew, said hi, chatted, but then we went home. And then afterwards, because it was Mother's Day that weekend, my mom and I went to my grandmother's for dinner, and we spent time with her, so that was, overall, it was a really good day. But I was so tired by the end of the day, like, because we did the Fiber Festival, and then we went to my grandmother's for dinner, and then I got home, and then an hour later, I had to go pick up my friend from work. And they got out late, and I mean like 11 o'clock late, and I'd been up at 7:30 that morning, and I walked around all day, and whatever, right? Like, according to my fitness tracker, I walked like 3 miles at the fair, let alone at the festival, let alone anything else, right? So by the time I got home and got into bed, it was nearly midnight, and I was so tired, I just burst into tears. Poor Kevin, he knew I wasn't upset with him, and it wasn't anything specific. But I'm the kind of person where when I get overtired, my emotional control just goes out the window. And I literally just laid down. I turned on the TV just to have something to focus on for a few minutes. And I literally just burst into tears. Like, no rhyme or reason, just burst into tears. I don't regret my day. I had a blast at Sheep and Wool. Same as I did last year. And I love seeing my grandmother and having dinner with her and talking with her and everything. That was great. I was just really tired. Like, really tired. But I think finally that wraps it up. So enjoy the pictures. They're going to be at the end here. Remember, you can follow me on Ravelry. Friend me on Ravelry. Join the group. You can follow me on Twitter. You can follow me on Instagram. My crafting email, I have like 4 email addresses, and the one I put in the credits is specifically for like crafting purposes. So if you want to email me there, feel free. You know, I don't mind. I'll have a chat with you. Like, I don't care. It's fine. Totally cool. And yeah, thank you for watching. I'll see you next week. Enjoy the pictures. Bye.